No CP+apocalypse+hoarding of supplies+unlimited space+warm amusement park+zombies+decisive killing+clear division of grievances+awakening of abilities. Nuclear wastewater is discharged into the sea, and the end of the world is approaching. Pollution of land and water sources, variation of crops, the zombie wave is sweeping the world. Lin Xiaoran trusts her boyfriend and uncle's family easily, take out food and shelter to share with them, but he suffered a tragic betrayal, leading to the death of himself and his sister, niece, and daughter in the apocalypse. Rebirth 2 months before the end of the world. Lin Xiaoran was fortunate enough to have the mustard space. My sister and niece are also alive and healthy. She immediately sold the real estate company with her sister, built the strongest fortress and frantically hoarded supplies. Planting and breeding in the space, turning the fortress into an apocalyptic paradise. He also took in a group of stray cats and dogs and formed his own cat and dog special attack team, becoming the most comfortable person to live in the apocalypse. Ex-boyfriend. Xiaoran, I truly love you and have been separated from her. Let me come to your playground, uncle. Xiaoran, I am your father's only younger brother, you can't ignore me, cousin. Xiaoran, you can't do without a man in your family. I'll help you, internet celebrity. Do you dare to help me? I will live stream and expose your selfish and ugly faces. Watching these people plead and threaten without any deterrence. Lin Xiaoran and his sister, niece, and daughter were comfortably sunbathing in the amusement park, eating hot pot and grilled meat, masturbating cats and teasing dogs, living a fairy-like life. Lin Xiaoran. You're not even as good as my cats and dogs, and you still want to live in the amusement park. Chapter 1. Rebirth from the End of the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ah. Ah. Lin Xiaoran swung her axe desperately, roaring in despair, trying to carve out a path of blood. However, there were too many zombies, and she was surrounded in the middle with open teeth and claws. Her swing became increasingly weak, and the encirclement became smaller and smaller. A zombie with its rotten mouth open suddenly pounced on her, its sharp teeth biting through her throat, and a cold and intense pain instantly spread throughout her body. Lin Xiaoran trembled and collapsed to the ground with no strength. More zombies rushed forward and gnawed on her body. My body was torn apart one by one, and the pain made my whole body tremble. Lin Xiaoran closed her eyes in despair, her heart filled with regret and unwillingness. Before the end of the world, she had already stocked up a house full of food and pure water, so she could stay inside with her sister and niece and wait for the end of the world with peace of mind. She opened the door and accepted her boyfriend's family, but they kicked her out. Then he was deceived by his close uncle and his family, and the last bit of food was taken away, causing his sister and niece to die one after another. Now she has also become the food for zombies, and this is only the 3rd year of the apocalypse. When she is only 25 years old in the prosperous community of Jiangbin City. Lin Xiaoran suddenly sat up from the bed, tightly gripping her chest with both hands, panting heavily. After a long time, she slowly calmed down. Looking at the cozy bedroom in front of her, she touched her face incredulously, then her arms and legs. All are complete, there is no trace of being bitten. Lin Xiaoran was startled and turned around under her pillow, flipping out her phone and opening it. August 24, 2028, was prominently displayed on the phone screen. August 24. Lin Xiaoran murmured softly, this date. This date is the 5th year that Sakura country has dumped nuclear wastewater into the sea. It was also 2 months before the end of the world. How could she come back to this day? She was chased by a group of zombies and had no choice but to bite and die, didn't she? After reading too many online novels, Lin Xiaoran instantly understood that she was reborn. Great. The end of the world has not yet arrived, she has not died yet. Thinking of all the hardships experienced in the apocalypse, besides hating my boyfriend and uncle's family, I am even more indignant towards the instigator and the neighboring Sakura kingdom. This apocalypse was caused by their discharge of nuclear wastewater. 5 years ago today, despite international condemnation, Sakura country discharged nuclear wastewater into the sea, claiming that the nuclear wastewater has been purified and is not dangerous. At the beginning, there were huge voices of opposition from around the world, but they persisted in emitting emissions. The following life seemed to have remained unchanged, and gradually, people accepted this approach. As the emissions increase, the color of the seawater becomes darker, and terrifying mutated organisms continue to appear in the sea. But this did not attract the world's attention, and the disaster spread to the land. 2 months later, acid rain began to fall in the sky. The acid rain continued to rain for several months, corroding steel buildings, burning human skin, causing wounds to ulcerate and unable to heal, and triggering other inflammations, ultimately leading to death without treatment. Animals and plants are exposed to nuclear radiation from acid rain, causing mutations and beginning to attack humans. After the acid rain stopped, zombies appeared again, their attack power became stronger and stronger, and the city became chaotic and uncontrollable. This chaos lasted for 3 years, and over 80% of people worldwide lost their lives in this disaster. When Lin Xiaoran passed away, the situation did not improve at all, but instead worsened. Fortunately, there are still 2 months left. She had ample time to plan and prepare for the upcoming apocalypse. This time, she will never make the same mistakes as in her previous life. She will definitely protect her sister and niece and let them live well. Let the people who hurt them repay their debts with blood. She was thinking for a moment, as a Siamese cat seemed to feel her emotions. It deftly jumped onto the bed, skillfully jumping onto her legs, extending its furry little head and rubbing against her face, as if comforting her. Lin Xiaoran's heart warmed as she reached out to embrace it and turned her head to look at the bedside. There lay a white 3-flowered fat cat, yawning lazily and staring at her. Xiao Luo. Dian Dian. She hugged Xiao Luo's soft and warm body, choking and shouting. In their past lives, she and her sister struggled to survive in the afterlife after being kicked out by their boyfriend. Xiao Luo and Dian Dian also mutated due to being infected with radiation, becoming much stronger and constantly protecting them. Just when encountering an attack from a mutated animal, 2 cats died in battle. Thinking of their dim gaze and gradually stiffening body, Lin Xiaoran buried her face in Xiao Luo's soft hair and began to cry. Xiaoran, why are you crying early in the morning? Have you had a nightmare? A beautiful and well-dressed young woman walked up to the door and asked with concern. It is Lin Xiaoran's sister, Lin Xiaobei. In her past life, Lin Xiaobei was bitten by a zombie during a fight to protect Lin Xiaoran. In order to remain unchanged, she chose to commit suicide and instructed Lin Xiaoran to set fire to her body. Looking at the living Lin Xiaobei now, Lin Xiaoran's tears flowed even more fiercely. What's wrong? Still dreaming. Get up and wash your face, wake up and wake up. Sister. Don't cry, breakfast is on the table. Get up and eat. I sent Wen directly to the company. There will be a morning meeting today. After finishing speaking, he no longer cared about Lin Xiaoran and turned his head and left. This younger sister doesn't work after graduating from college. Apart from dating her boyfriend, she stays at home all day, either reading literature or watching TV dramas. She often makes a fussy move and has become accustomed to it. Lin Xiaoran listened as her sister went downstairs and greeted her daughter downstairs. Wen, hurry up and eat, Mom will be late. Soon, the crisp voice of Wen rang out downstairs. Auntie, I'm going to kindergarten now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Lin Xiaoran also raised her voice. In the apocalypse, Wen followed them through hunger, cold, and fear. He passed away before the age of 6, and this time he would never do it again. Lin Xiaoran gently stroked Xiao Luo's hair while pondering how to make use of these 2 months to hoard as much supplies as possible and endure the long apocalyptic period with family. After Lin Xiaoran's parents died unexpectedly 8 years ago, they left their sisters tens of millions of wealth and real estate. If all these assets are exchanged for supplies, plan to use them, and persist for 10 or 20 years without any problem. Just staying in the city, even if you hoard a lot of goods, if someone with intentions knows and opens the door, not only will they loot all the goods, but their lives are also in danger. Another thing is Lin Xiaoran. Will she agree to do this? Tell her that the end of the world is coming, will she believe it? Judging from her usual attitude, she would definitely think that she was reading in a daze and going crazy. How can we persuade her? Suddenly, her eyes froze and she noticed a ring with an antique design and a blue gemstone set on the middle finger of her right hand. Ha! She raised her hand and let out a soft cry. Why is the ring still there? She found this ring in the apocalypse and casually put it on her right middle finger. Little did she know that she easily put it on the moment before, but couldn't take it off the second after. At this moment, a large group of zombies attacked, and she ignored the ring. She desperately tried to escape, but was unsuccessful, and ultimately died at the mouth of the zombies. Unexpectedly, upon being reborn, the ring also returned. She gently rubbed the surface of the ring, feeling strange. Suddenly, a white light flashed past and a space appeared in front of me. A word also came to mind. Mustard space. This ring is actually a mustard space. Chapter 2. Discovering the Golden Finger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the Buddhist scriptures, it is said, Sumeru hides mustard seeds, and mustard seeds absorb Sumeru. I don't know if this mustard space is so mysterious. Lin Xiaoran quickly entered the space with her consciousness to explore. But in the distance, there was a mountain ridge, and at the foot of the mountain was an endless field. However, the fields on the ridge were bare and there were no plants planted. There is a big river by the field, and on the other side of the river, there are cow pens, pig pens, chicken houses, and duck houses, which are now empty. A few small wooden houses were built in a corner of the space, and there was a clear spring in front of the house, gushing out with water. A patch of herbaceous plants resembling orchids grew around the spring water. She tasted it, and the spring water was cool and sweet, with a lingering aftertaste, much tastier than the mineral water on the market. Lin Xiaoran was extremely excited. Isn't it possible for her to engage in agricultural production in space? This is a never-ending investment that can be enjoyed for a lifetime. Even if the apocalypse lasts for 100 years, it is not afraid of depletion, much better than hoarding food. The money saved can be used for more useful things. She suppressed her excitement and then plunged her consciousness into the wooden house. A few of the wooden houses were equipped with granaries, threshers, and other machines, while the others were empty with nothing. Is this used to store harvested food? Lin Xiaoran thought to herself, I don't know if things in reality can be stored inside. She pulled her consciousness back to reality and walked around the bedroom, moving the table, chairs, king bed, and bedside table all into a wooden house. Although the wooden house is small, the furniture moved in does not appear awkward and is still spacious. She immediately became interested and ran to the living room downstairs. Following the same method, she moved the sofa, coffee table, and TV inside. Unexpectedly, all these things were packed into the space, and the usage area of the wooden house is less than 1/10 of 1,000. Great, all the purchased materials can now be placed in the space. After using her mind to move all the furniture out, she had a new idea. I don't know if people can enter, but if they encounter danger, they can just hide in and come out after the danger is lifted. Isn't it beautiful? She immediately tried, but unfortunately all failed. It seems that people cannot enter the space. But she is already very satisfied. She can tell Lin Xiaoran about her experience in the apocalypse, and she will definitely believe it. They can discuss together to withdraw all the money, sell the house for cash, and create the safest and most comfortable post-apocalyptic paradise. Living a happy life in the apocalypse will no longer be a luxury. She reluctantly glanced at the space again and suddenly saw a white spot in the orchid grass, with a faint and sparkling light floating on it. Lin Xiaoran quickly leaned in and saw that it was actually a book with 4 large characters written in ancient Chinese on the cover. The True Sutra of Cleansing Dirt. Lin Xiaoran wanted to take out the true scriptures and flip through them, but it didn't work. She had to use her mind to open the true scripture and found that the content was also written in ancient Chinese, which was a manual for cultivation. According to the preface of the true scripture, all things in the world have true qi, and the clear blue true qi is the purest and healthiest. If there is dirt gas in the body, the true qi will change color, and the cleansing scale divine skill can remove the dirt gas. The book records the cultivation methods. At the beginning, one can see the true qi on top of all things, and through the color of the true qi on the human head, one can identify the good and evil of the human heart and the physical condition. Next, different levels can remove different types of dirt and gas. By reaching the highest level, all dirt and gas in the world can be removed. Lin Xiaoran's spiritual light flashed. So, as long as you focus on cultivation, you can eliminate zombie viruses and nuclear pollution. Can one day become a hero who saves the world. Lin Xiaoran's heart was filled with passion. After flipping through the specific content, she found it obscure and difficult to understand. She needed to study it carefully. She didn't have that thought now. She put the scriptures back under the tree, prepared to have breakfast, and went to find her sister Lin Xiaobai. After planning the end of the world park, there is plenty of time for practice. In the last period of Lin Xiaoran's life, due to extreme food scarcity, she never had a full meal and was constantly in a state of hunger. Even when drinking water, I only dare to drink a little, afraid that drinking too much will cause strange diseases due to nuclear radiation in the water source. As soon as she thought of the breakfast prepared by Lin Xiaobai, she suddenly felt hungry. She quickly got up, picked up Xiao Luo, and beckoned Dian Dian to walk towards the restaurant downstairs. In the morning of early autumn, the sun was still hot. Before 9 o'clock, it was already dazzling. Through the French window of the living room, the whole room was filled with arrogance. The central air conditioning controls the temperature at the most comfortable 26 degrees, which is cool and comfortable, with a faint fragrance of jasmine wafting in the air. Lin Xiaoran didn't hesitate to marvel at the beautiful environment and headed straight for the restaurant. The dining table was filled with plates, including small steamed buns with vegetarian filling, sandwiches, and fried tender eggs. In addition, there is a small cup of milk and a bowl of tremella congee. Each small dish is placed on a miniature induction cooker, with a temperature set at 50 degrees, which is just slightly hot and can be eaten. There are also 2 peeled kiwi fruit in the small plate next to it. Lin Xiaoran was immediately dazed by the aroma of the food. She sat down and picked up a bun, biting off most of it in one bite. It's so delicious. Such a steamed bun can save a life in the end of the world. I don't know if it's possible to maintain the temperature when food is placed in the space. Lin Xiaoran thought to herself, taking care of the steamed buns and walking to the refrigerator to put a bag of frozen dumplings in the space, intending to wait and see if they would thaw. She sat back at the dining table and as soon as she picked up the second bun, she heard a ding dong sound. The doorbell rang. Early in the morning, who will come? Lin Xiaoran stood up and opened the door. Outside the door stood a middle-aged woman in her 50s, holding a little boy about 5 years old in her hand. This woman is none other than her aunt Luo Yulan. The little boy is Luo Yulan's grandson, Tao Tao. Luo Yulan was dressed very fashionably, wearing a colorful dress with large wavy curls. Her face was painted with eyebrows and eyes, and her makeup was very exquisite. Seeing her, Lin Xiaoran saw a picture of the apocalypse before her eyes. After her and her sister were kicked out by their boyfriend, fortunately they were protected by Xiao Luo and Dian Dian, and they often went to steal supplies to come back, so they barely managed to hold on. Later on, I met my uncle's family and said that they were all relatives, so it was safer to take care of each other together. Lin Xiaoran shared a small amount of supplies, but who knew they were interested in Xiao Luo and Dian Dian and wanted to kill them and eat meat. Lin Xiaoran's sisters resolutely refused. Without saying a word, cousin Lin Jijun took the iron bar and hit Lin Xiaobei's head without warning. Fortunately, Dian Dian reacted quickly and rushed forward to scratch his hand, which saved Lin Xiaobei from danger. However, Dian Dian was injured by Lin Jijun. Uncle picked up the iron rod and joined the battle, causing pain and killing. They fought back desperately and managed to escape. But the last bit of supplies was all taken away. She still remembers Luo Yulan holding a wooden stick and cursing in a sharp voice while beating, "When is it?" She values two animals more than humans. I tell you, in a while, not only will she eat cat meat, but also child meat. After being injured by Lin Jijun, Dian Dian's injuries did not improve, and it was only then that he fell behind in the fight against the mutated animals. However, Wen was frightened and developed a high fever that evening. He stayed there for a few days and died without treatment. Their tragedy is a gift from their uncle's family. Now seeing Luo Yulan again, Lin Xiaoran couldn't help but widen her eyes and her chest was filled with anger. Chapter 3. Pity You. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Yulan didn't notice Lin Xiaoran's anger and asked her from a high position. Where's Xiaobei? I can't even reach her on the phone. Can you tell her and help send Tao Tao to kindergarten together? Lin Xiaoran wished he could kick her, but he ignored her and said rudely, My sister is back at work. Are you back to work? It's so early today. Luo Yulan thought for a moment and immediately arranged for Lin Xiaoran. Xiaoran, could you help me with the delivery? I have to attend an event with my colleagues today, and there's not enough time. No, I have something to do, Lin Xiaoran refused. You stay at home and don't work every day. What can you do? Your elders ask you to do something, but you just keep pushing around like that. What's that like? Tao Tao even called you little sister. Law, how do you mean? Luo Yulan was very unhappy and criticized her a lot with a beep beep sound. Lin Xiaoran was about to get angry when suddenly she had an idea. Slow down his expression and say, something's really going on. My sister wants to sell this house. Today, the agent invited me to talk. After the end of the world, this house was not safe, so Lin Xiaoran decided to sell it and buy it as supplies to store. The building she is in is currently a scarce garden villa, with a total of 6 floors. The 5th and 6th floors are duplex floors, with 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, and 2 bathrooms below. The Luo Yulan family lives downstairs from them. When they didn't have enough money to buy a house, it was still the balance paid by Lin Xiaoran's father. At present, Lin Jijun is doing well in his career. After earning some money, he feels cramped to be squeezed with his parents and wants to change houses. The other day, Luo Yulan talked about it. She said in a sour voice that their sisters didn't need to live so big, but it was suitable for their family. Looking at that posture, I hope they can understand and take the initiative to change houses. Of course, she could only think about it, knowing in her heart that it was impossible. Now Lin Xiaoran has decided to reveal the news of selling the house to her and let her family buy it. Squeeze out all their cash, the end of the world is here, and there's no money to hoard. Sure enough, upon hearing this, Luo Yulan's eyes lit up instantly. She just wants to switch to a new apartment like Lin Xiaoran's, but unfortunately, it's located in the city center and a school district house. It has a price but no market, and even if she has money, she doesn't have the land to buy it. Isn't it just right now? This house was only renovated by Xiaobei last year, which cost a lot of money. She also likes the furniture and can easily move in with her bag. She hurriedly said to Lin Xiaoran, Are you selling a house? Sell it to your brother. He was just about to buy it, and I asked him to come find your sister. We need to make a one-time payment, not in installments. Tell your brother then, our own family, it's easy to discuss. Luo Yulan's eyes flickered with calculation. Don't go see any intermediaries, it's just a good time to see off Tao Tao. We've already made an appointment, we can't keep it. After a moment of contemplation, Luo Yulan made a sacrificial expression and sighed, alas, it seems like I'm the only one going to see off Tao Tao today. At this moment, Xiao Luo ran to the door and curiously poked his head out. When he saw Tao Tao, he turned his head and ran. The impatient Tao Tao next to him immediately became excited and rushed in to catch Xiao Luo. Lin Xiaoran doesn't like Tao Tao very much. He was taught by Luo Yulan to be selfish, domineering. Every time he came home, he either bullied when one or chased two cats around, and threw them on the ground when he caught them. It's hard to say he was. When it comes to Uncle's family, they are not happy. They say that children are not sensible, and you are also not sensible. Let's argue with him. Lin Xiaoran used to endure it, but now she doesn't have that much patience. She grabbed Tao Tao's neck and lifted him out. Get out. Tao Tao was frightened by the expression on Lin Xiaoran's face and dared not speak. He flattened his mouth and looked at Luo Yulan, ready to cry at any time. Luo Yulan stopped working and yelled at Lin Xiaoran, "What are you doing? This is your nephew. Why are you so fierce? Tao Tao is the only child of your Lin family's 3 generations of solo transmission. I'm in a hurry." Lin Xiaoran ignored her and reached out and slammed the door shut. Damn girl, with such a strange temper, I don't know who I learned from. Luo Yulan wanted to slap the door open and scold her a few more words, but in order to get a good price for the house she was about to get, she restrained herself and pulled up the crying and howling waves from her throat as she went downstairs. Lin Xiaoran returned to the dining table, thinking of being able to trick Uncle's house and quickly monetize the funds. She was in a good mood and picked up a sandwich to eat happily. Lin Xiaoran usually eats at most 1 steamed bun for breakfast, and a bowl of porridge is enough. Today, she swept away all the dishes on the table, still unsatisfied. Unfortunately, there is no fat. She hasn't eaten meat for almost a year in the apocalypse. Although breakfast today was nutritious, Lin Xiaobei didn't prepare fatty and tender pork to maintain her slim figure, which made her feel quite regretful. Lin Xiaoran decided that in the future, no matter how much, he would first enjoy some delicious food and never treat his stomach unfairly again. After finishing her meal, she immediately dialed Lin Xiaobei and said, "Sister, what are you doing?" Lin Xiaobei's surprised voice came from the microphone. "I'm at work, what's wrong? Check my job." Lin Xiaoran chuckled and said to her, "Don't go anywhere in the office, I'll come find you." Lin Xiaobei sat in the boss's chair, looking at Lin Xiaoran in front of him with suspicion. How did Miss Air come up with the idea of visiting our company? The sun is shining in the west. According to Lin Xiaoran's daily routine, he was basically sleeping soundly at this time, but he didn't expect to come out for activities today. "I have some explosive news to tell you," Lin Xiaoran said mysteriously. "What news?" "Sister, this matter is too unbelievable for you. You may not believe it, but it really happened." "Tell me, what's going on?" Lin Xiaobei raised his chin at his sister. "Sister, do you know what the end of the world is? What is rebirth?" Lin Xiaoran sat opposite her and asked 2 questions first. "What's wrong? Haven't you woken up from your dream yet?" "Sister, this is not a dream, it's real." She stopped beating around the bush and told her about her past life experiences in one breath. "Are you planning to write a novel?" "It's quite exciting, but it's just too tragic for us. Can't we arrange a good ending?" Lin Xiaobei did not believe it and protested in dissatisfaction. Lin Xiaoran sighed, it seemed that the only way was to let the facts speak. She stood up and pointed to the water glass on the table. "Sister, you keep an eye on it. The next moment, the cup filled with tea disappeared from Lin Xiaoran's table. Lin Xiaoran widened his eyes, looking incredulously at the table and then at Lin Xiaoran. Xiaoran, you can do it. You've learned how to do magic. What kind of magic? Lin Xiaoran was speechless. She walked to the reception area on the other side and put all the sofas and coffee tables into the space. Lin Xiaoran stood up and walked to the reception area, feeling chaotic in the wind. What exactly happened? In a blink of an eye, this place is already empty, with nothing left. Lin Xiaoran saw her expression and showed her the ring on his hand. Sister, this is a space inside, mustard space, do you know? Empty. Space. Lin Xiaoran's eyes are about to fall out. Chapter 4. Sisters are together. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Xiaoran put all the things in the office back in place when she suddenly realized that the frozen dumplings were still in the space and forgot to take them out. She took out the dumplings and saw that they were still frozen hard without any signs of thawing. What is this? What is this? Lin Xiaoran looked at the dumplings in her hand and stuttered. I took it out of the refrigerator and put it in the space during breakfast. It seems that my space also has insulation function. She asked Lin Xiaoran to touch it and put the dumplings back in the space, facing Lin Xiaoran who was stunned in the same place. This space was brought back from the afterlife after my rebirth. Lin Xiaoran reached out and touched the ring, murmuring, is what you said true? Sister. Lin Xiaoran let out a cry and couldn't help but shed tears as she thought about the tragic experiences of her family in the apocalypse. My younger sister is always happy and rarely does this. Lin Xiaoran quickly grabbed Lin Xiaoran and sat on the sofa, hugging her shoulder. He whispered, wait a minute, let me smooth it out. Influenced by Lin Xiaoran has also read many online novels and is not unfamiliar with the rebirth of the apocalypse. Now that there is space to showcase it, she thought for a while and finally chose to believe her sister. Did you come back from being bitten to death by zombies in the apocalypse? She pondered Lin Xiaoran's words, tears twinkling in her eyes. How painful that was. I often feel extremely painful when I accidentally get my hand cut by a knife, and my flesh and blood are torn off one by one. Lin Xiaoran trembled and dared not think about it. There is also one, and there is herself. Although she has not experienced such a tragic death, just listening to her sister's words makes her heart unbearable. Xiaoran. Lin Xiaoran hugged Lin Xiaoran and cried sadly. Lin Xiaoran patted her shoulder with tears in her eyes and comforted her, sister, since I'm back, I don't want the tragedy of my past life to happen again. The end of the world cannot be changed. There are still 2 months left. Let's seize the time, plan well, and create an end-of-the-world paradise, so that we can live comfortably in the end of the world. Lin Xiaoran has been fighting in the workplace for many years and is very decisive in his actions. He immediately tidied up his mood. She said to Lin Xiaoran, since it's the end of the world, money is of no use. Take it all out and use it. If you have any ideas, just let me know, I'll take them down and study together. Lin Xiaoran took Lin Xiaoran's tablet and first drew his own space, explaining it to her. Grain, meat, vegetables, fruits, and drinking water don't need to be hoarded. There are fields, land, and rivers in the space for breeding. We only need to hoard materials that cannot be produced in the space. To hoard supplies, one must have money. The two of them made a list of their existing assets to see how much money they could allocate. Their parents' inheritance plus insurance compensation, 2 sisters each inherited 10 million cash. Lin Xiaoran left over 1 million yuan in cash, and the rest was handed over to a wealth management company to buy wealth management products and stocks. Now, he has cashed out about 30 million yuan. Lin Xiaoran took his share and started a company, which is now developing very well. I have over 2 million yuan in cash in my account. Since the end of the world has arrived, there is no need to open the company. I might as well sell it, Lin Xiaoran said. Can we sell it in such a hurry? I have a client who has been wanting to acquire my company, and the price is getting higher and higher. At first, I didn't want to sell, but now I have this heart. As long as I disclose the news to him, I can sell it immediately, but it's just a matter of how much money I can sell. Lin Xiaoran is quite confident. After years of hard work, her company's net profit after tax has exceeded 4 million yuan annually, and the customer offered a price of 40 million yuan. Apart from these, there are 4 properties in total. There is a 5-story villa in the suburbs. There are 2 underground floors and 3 above-ground floors. This villa has a high terrain and a construction area of over 500 square meters. It also has a garden of over 200 square meters, a swimming pool, a gym, and a video room. Lin Xiaoran did not plan to sell it, but instead put in a lot of effort to build it into an apocalyptic paradise and will live here in the future. In the apocalypse, I saw many families who had hoarded goods expose their tracks. They were hacked open and rushed in to grab supplies. In the end, not only were their belongings robbed, but people were also killed. Therefore, we must have a sturdy residence, preferably a safe fortress, and others cannot break in. Otherwise, the goods we hoarded are just doing good for others. Lin Xiaoran strongly agrees with her statement that in times of peace, there are lawless people who break into homes and rob. At that time, in order to survive, such people will only become more and more insane. There are 3 properties in the urban area, one of which is a legacy left by parents, which is the one in the Fuli community in the city center, and the other 2 are bought by Lin Xiaoran himself. These 2 houses are priced at around 8 million yuan per unit in the market. If they are urgently sold and require full payment, they can be sold for a total of approximately 15 million yuan. The market price of this set in the city center has reached 20 million yuan. This morning, I told Luo Yulan that our apartment is for sale and she asked you to sell it to Lin Jijun. Lin Jijun may come to see you today. Lin Xiaoran told Lin Xiaoran about the conversation with Luo Yulan this morning. Lin Jijun was cruel to Lin Xiaoran's 2 sisters in the end of his life. He was just like the enemy. Lin Xiaoran wanted him to repay them all in this life. If we pay in full, we'll have to sell at least 19 million yuan. I estimate that Lin Jijun's cash will not exceed 10 million yuan. If we really want him to pay in full, he'll have to sell his current house and borrow some money. Lin Xiaoran has no objections at all. After buying this house, they really don't have any money left. I see what Luo Yulan means, I want you to give it to her for free, Lin Xiaoran laughed. Then let her come, I see how thick her skin is. Lin Xiaoran snorted coldly, has she been fooling around in the mall for so many years? Can we still make them beg for a discount? According to statistics, apart from Lin Xiaoran's company, it is uncertain how much money it can sell. With cash and real estate, a total of approximately 60 million yuan can be withdrawn. If your company can sell for 40 million, we will have over 100 million in cash. Lin Xiaoran recorded the amount on the tablet. Lin Xiaoran became interested and said, I'll call Mr. Ma to see what he means. She immediately made a video call to Mr. Ma to explain her purpose. Mr. Ma clearly did not expect happiness to come so suddenly, and laughed heartily at the end of the video. Mr. Lin, is that right? I told you a long time ago that you, a young and beautiful girl, are working so hard. Let us men do these things, and you can enjoy it with the money. Do you think my words make sense? Lin Xiaoran paid no attention to his attitude and smiled, saying, yes, it depends on whether the horse can offer a price that makes me tempted. It's easy to say, and the price is easy to say. Mr. Ma said with a smile on his face, with an attitude of not wanting any money. As we said last time, 40 million yuan, how about that? I want cash, pay at once, the faster the better. Mr. Ma didn't inquire about what happened to her in such a hurry, so he readily agreed. Okay, is Mr. Lin available this afternoon? I can bring my lawyer to talk to you in the afternoon. No problem. You prepare the materials, let's make a quick decision. Finally, Mr. Ma said, Mr. Lin, you can't go back on your promise. Have you figured it out? Of course I've figured it out. In business, honesty is the foundation. Don't worry. Okay, let's meet this afternoon. Once the contract is signed, payment will be made immediately. Mr. Ma laughed heartily again. Chapter 5. Scumbag Calls. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lin Xiaoran hung up the phone, let out a sigh, and Lin Xiaoran said, 40 million, please remember. A company that has put in years of hard work has become someone else's, and it's impossible to say it's not uncomfortable, but in the end of the world, the existence of the company is meaningless. It's better to use this money to provide extra protection for our families. He's so rich, can he take 40 million yuan? Lin Xiaoran was a bit surprised by Mr. Ma's bold tone. He is indeed wealthy, and there are his companies everywhere, but he is just low-key and quiet. By the way, aren't you planning to build a Doomsday park? He is also skilled in this area. When the nuclear wastewater was just discharged, he contacted the most famous international security company to build a protective facility for him. According to him, his house has an independent circulation system, and even if the external water and air are polluted, it can be unaffected. You can come to him later to ask for information about the security company and learn some skills from him. Lin Xiaoran was satisfied and wrote 1 on the tablet, followed by 8 zeros. 1 billion, not even a fraction. In the next 2 months, we will strive to spend all this money, build a safe fortress, and create an apocalyptic paradise, so that our families can live safely and comfortably. In addition to creating a safe and comfortable apocalyptic paradise, it is necessary to start purchasing daily necessities. The first to bear the brunt is the seeds of various crops, which Lin Xiaoran can purchase and plant in the space first. I have a classmate who runs a seed company. I will go see him tomorrow. We have bought a lot and should be able to offer wholesale prices. Lin Xiaoran is truly a business person, and she has connections everywhere. Then there is food that cannot be produced in space. Instant noodles, various snacks, beverages, ice cream. Lin Xiaoran counted with her fingers. Lin Xiaoran chuckled and said, it's been a while, you still have to eat these things. Yeah, as long as you have everything you can buy, otherwise just eat some food every day. It's too monotonous, and the quality of life still needs to be guaranteed. Anyway, I have space and plenty of storage space. As she was speaking, Lin Xiaoran's phone rang and a message arrived on WeChat. It was sent by her once beloved boyfriend Feng Binbin. She will always remember the day of the end of life when Feng Binbin, who had no way out, took his family to seek refuge. Lin Xiaoran opened the door and welcomed them into the house. After they had eaten and drunk enough, they began to drive Lin Xiaoran's sisters away. Lin Xiaoran rebuked him for doing so, repaying kindness with revenge. What did he say at the time? With great righteousness, he accused Lin Xiaoran, you are just a worm lying idle on your parents' property, making no contribution to society. Living in this world is a waste of air. Of course, such a precious survival opportunity should be left for people like us who are capable. Be sensible and leave obediently, otherwise I will break your leg and throw you downstairs, and you will only suffer even more. Lin Xiaoran tightly bit her lips, rest assured, in this life, I will give you all these pains back. She picked up her phone, opened a dialog box, and there was a message on it. Xiaoran, don't forget my birthday party tonight. Lin Xiaoran suddenly remembered, yes, today is Feng Binbin's 26th birthday. Recalling her past life experiences at a birthday banquet, she chuckled and turned off her phone. Feng Binbin. Why bother with him? Just blacklist him and don't contact him in the future. Feng Binbin was a senior student at the 3rd level of Gao Lin Xiaoran. As soon as Lin Xiaoran entered the school, he was fascinated by him and put a lot of effort into getting close to him. It was not until Feng Binbin graduated that the two finally established their relationship. Lin Xiaoran has always had a bad impression of Feng Binbin and has expressed her opinions to Lin Xiaoran many times. In her opinion, although Feng Binbin is good-looking, his eyes are erratic and he seems to be calculating the weight of a person. Such a person has too deep a mind and is not a good match. However, Lin Xiaoran was dazed by Feng Binbin and felt that he was good anywhere. His gaze seemed a bit melancholic to her, with a unique charm. Whenever Feng Binbin makes a request to her, she will not hesitate to agree. Seeing Lin Xiaoran motionless, Lin Xiaoran was not very satisfied and said, "You say he is so ruthless in his actions in the end of the world. Why do you keep him? For the Chinese New Year." Lin Xiaoran looked up and gave her a cold smile, his eyes fierce. "Of course we have to contact each other. How can we settle the accounts if we don't? He has been hanging on me all along, isn't he? Now that I'm hanging on him, I want him to kneel down and beg me in the future." Lin Xiaoran immediately understood her meaning and nodded. Continuously giving him hope and gradually shattering it, plunging him into despair, is indeed the best way of revenge. The two no longer mentioned Feng Binbin and continued to inventory the things they wanted to buy. "First, let's have a complete set of daily necessities, including the kitchen and bathroom, and then clothing, shoes, and socks. We need to buy more, as we don't have any place to buy them anymore. We also need to download more movies, TV dramas, and novels. If we have free time, we can also buy textbooks on literature. In the future, we can teach her at home. When the end of the world is over, she will become a talented student. There are also toys, extracurricular books, and her nutrition products. You can handle these things as you know. In addition, there are a bunch of things from Xiao Luo and Dian Dian, such as canned cat food and cat litter freeze-dried, their toys. By the way, there are also internal and external drives, lactoferrin fish oil, which can be easily bought online." Lin Xiaoran said that Lin Xiaoran recorded, and soon Lin wrote a large page. "No, it's too much and too complicated. It's inevitable that something unexpected can't be remembered." Lin Xiaoran threw down his pen and his eyes flickered with an idea. "Let's not write here either. I'll go to Donghui supermarket in a few days, where I often apply for shopping cards. I'm very familiar with their manager, so I'll go directly to the warehouse and see what's on the shelves. If there's nothing, I'll go buy it online." Lin Xiaoran nodded and said, "Okay, that way, there's basically no shortage of daily necessities. The next step is medicine. Although the intermediate level of the Qingdu divine skill can cure diseases, who knows when it will be practiced? What should I do if I get sick before this? I still need to stock up. There are also other large supplies, such as various tools, equipment. I'm not busy with these for now. Anyway, there's still time. I'll add more when I've purchased all the daily necessities," Lin Xiaoran said. "There's so much to do, I need to call the agent to hang up the house." Speaking of the phone, Lin Xiaoran's phone rang and someone called her. She brought it over and saw that it was Feng Binbin. Chapter 6. Here comes the advantage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Lin Xiaoran answered the phone, he heard Feng Binbin asking with concern, "Xiaoran, are you still asleep? Why don't you reply to my WeChat?" Lin Xiaoran sneered, "Knowing that I was sleeping and making a phone call, how anxious you were." "Yeah, what's wrong? Is there anything wrong?" Lin Xiaoran asked in a long voice. "It's nothing, I just wanted to remind you not to forget to come to my birthday party tonight. I've been preparing for today for a long time, so you can't be absent." Feng Binbin's voice is very gentle. "I know, I will definitely come," Lin Xiaoran smiled meaningfully. "Just this matter, many of my friends are here today and they want to see you. You can come alone, don't prepare any gifts, go to bed quickly." Feng Binbin finished speaking and hung up the phone. He's celebrating his birthday today and asked me to come over tonight to attend the birthday banquet. Lin Xiaoran put down her phone and explained to Lin Xiaobei. Don't go, why waste time dealing with that kind of person? He is treating guests at the Haibao Pavilion, which is of high quality. If he doesn't go, it wouldn't be a waste. He can still have a comfortable meal without spending a penny, and I don't want to miss it. Lin Xiaoran smiled and said, he still has important things to tell me today. What's up? Propose to you. How could that be? Is he the kind of person who easily ties himself up? Lin Xiaoran now saw it very clearly, but she was dizzy at the beginning, thinking that Feng Binbin really liked her and wanted to marry him, full of longing for the day when he proposed. Lin Xiaobei suddenly reacted and said, can I borrow money from you? By the way, sister, there's one more thing I forgot to tell you, Lin Xiaoran said without hesitation, breaking the topic. Lin Xiaoran thought of the Qinggo manual in the space and told Lin Xiaobei about it as well. After practicing the true scripture, it can clear the dirt and gas in the body, treat zombie viruses, and at the highest level, it can also clear the dirt and gas in mountains, rivers, and rivers. In this way, the pollution of nuclear wastewater can be purified, and the crisis will be resolved. It is difficult to practice, and what ice crystals are needed? I don't know where to find them. Is there such a good thing? Lin Xiaobei immediately became excited. Let's practice together and become heroes who save the world. Today, my younger sister's strange events came one after another, which was the most exciting, and she was eager to participate. Looking at Lin Xiaobei's eager appearance, Lin Xiaoran shook her head with regret. No, I can't take out the true scripture. It also says that only the ring holder can practice. She also wants to practice with her sister. It's better to be alone than to fight alone. I see, then you should practice well. Although Lin Xiaobei was a bit disappointed, he immediately regained his composure and had a heroic younger sister. After thinking for a moment, she pondered and said, I have a feeling that if you can be reborn, maybe it's because of this ring. Lin Xiaoran felt the same way, but she didn't think too much. Just come back, whatever the reason is. Lin Xiaobei looked at the time and found that it was almost time for lunch. Let's go eat. What do you want to eat? Hot pot. Lin Xiaoran exclaimed excitedly. At noon. Lin Xiaobei was about to object when he thought of his sister's suffering in the apocalypse and forcefully withdrew his words. Okay, our downstairs is Delonkin. I'll call them to prepare. As they walked outside the office, Lin Xiaobei instructed the hot pot restaurant to prepare dishes. Colleagues in the office all raised their heads and greeted Lin Xiaobei. Looking at those smiling faces, Lin Xiaoran felt uneasy in her heart. These colleagues are young and full of vitality, working hard for a better tomorrow, but unfortunately, after the end of the world, everything turned into nothing. I don't know how many people can survive. Delonkin is the best tasting, most famous, and most upscale hot pot restaurant in Jiangbin City. It usually has to queue up at night, and even at noon, the hall is full. The iron pot on the table was steaming hot, and the hall was filled with a spicy aroma. Everyone's face was full of smiles, enjoying the delicious food to their heart's content. The scene was peaceful and beautiful. But this scene can only last for 2 more months. Lin Xiaobei Company often gathers here for meals and is a VIP customer of a hot pot restaurant. The manager led the two directly into the private room. The soup in the pot has already boiled, and the table is filled with the dishes ordered by Lin Xiaobei. Lin Xiaoran was not polite either, she shook off her cheeks and started working. She didn't eat any vegetables or internal organs, only large pieces of meat, such as fatty beef, pork belly, plum blossom meat, tender beef, and snowflake meat. Her fierce eating behavior made Lin Xiaobei feel heartbroken, so she simply poured several large plates of meat slices into the pot. Eat slowly, don't burn it. Lin Xiaoran ate a mouthful and then took a sip of soy milk, sighing with satisfaction. Later on, we could only eat tree bark and grass roots, and we didn't eat meat for a long time. At that moment, I was thinking that if I could come back, I must have a good meal of hot pot. Lin Xiaoran looked at her with heartache, putting all the scalded meat slices into her bowl. Just eat it, order more if it's not enough. I made preparations in advance this time, and there won't be such hardship again. I promise I will still enjoy eating and drinking spicy food like this. Lin Xiaoran had a sudden inspiration and came up with an idea. Anyway, you can put it in your space. You can order hundreds of takeout with the manager later and put them directly in your space. If you want to eat, just take them out. This type of hot pot takeout is prepared with dishes and seasonings at the bottom of the pot, and some even come with a small pot that can be taken out and eaten, just like eating at a hot pot restaurant. Lin Xiaoran immediately agreed with Lin Xiaoran's proposal and calculated, even if we eat once a week, we need 4 servings a month, and 40.8 servings a year. If we save enough for 10 years, we can buy 500 servings. She believes that in 10 years, she should be able to practice her cleansing skills to the top level, and the crisis will be resolved, and the world will return to its original state. Eating everything from one restaurant is boring. This restaurant is delicious, we'll buy 200 portions, and we'll order from other hot pot restaurants. Lin Xiaoran thinks that the nearby Jixiangwan hot pot is also very delicious and distinctive. Also, spicy hot pot and bobo chicken should be served with various varieties. You can also order Chinese food. I want to eat twice cooked pork, braised pork belly in brown sauce, white meat in cold sauce, and barbecue. If you want to live a good life, barbecue is indispensable. No problem, we have plenty of money, come from family to family. Lin Xiaoran laughed arrogantly. Lin Xiaoran was extremely satisfied with this hot pot meal, sighing as she stroked her stomach. Lin Xiaoran called the agent while she was resting and asked them to sell all of their houses on the condition of full payment. Those 2 houses were originally rented out through intermediaries, and there was no need to provide information. They could be rented and resold. The agent was very excited, and Lin Xiaoran's house was located in a very good location. The kindergarten, school, supermarket, and cinema were all available, and the transportation was also very convenient. The value appreciation was fast, and most of them were for rent. Few people were willing to sell them. If these 2 sets are sold, his commission alone would be a considerable sum. He repeatedly said to Lin Xiaoran, "Lin Jia, don't worry, I promise to get it done for you in the next 2 days and try to sell it at the highest price possible. It will never affect your business." Lin Xiaoran just hung up when another call came in. She glanced at the caller and answered the call. Lin Jijun, it should be asking about the house. After hanging up the phone, she said to Lin Xiaoran, "I asked him to come and discuss our prices, and he happened to buy the order. Although they have sufficient funds now, being able to take advantage of such ungrateful villains is a trick." "Good idea, Jiang is still old and spicy." Lin Xiaoran gave her a thumbs up, "It's best to pay him 200 yuan as well." "It's not impossible either," Lin Xiaoran smiled and glanced at her. "Let's act according to the situation later." Chapter 7. Cut a layer of meat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Jijun's company is nearby and comes quickly. Entering the door, I saw 2 sisters and said to them, "How can I eat hot pot at noon? I'm not afraid of getting angry." Xiaoran wanted to eat, so she came. Lin Xiaoran asked the waiter to add 2 dishes to him and ask him to sit down and eat together. Anyway, it was Lin Xiaoran who paid the bill, and Lin Jijun didn't hesitate. He ordered a few of the most expensive ones and also ordered 2 cans of beer. Lin Jijun greets Lin Xiaoran's sisters as he eats. "Why don't you eat it? Let's eat it together. It's delicious. I can't get tired of it." Lin Xiaoran called him into the room and played with her phone, not even looking up. She ignored what he said. "We're finished, take your time eating." Lin Xiaoran was quite polite. Lin Jijun took a sip of wine and licked his lips contentedly. My mom said you want to sell your house. Isn't that right? Xiaoran is doing this in the morning. Our family lives in that third room, which is crowded. I was just thinking of changing houses, but unfortunately, I decided to sell it to me instead. Okay, everyone is selling it. If you think it's suitable, I'll sell it to you, Lin Xiaoran agreed decisively. How about the price? It's too expensive for me to afford. Whatever the price outside is, I'll give it to you. I won't let you lose out. Lin Jijun glanced at her and said, my mom said it's around 10 million outside. 10 million. Let's just give it to you for free, Lin Xiaoran exclaimed exaggeratedly. Xiaoran just asked, 20 million. The agent promised to sell it to me within a week. She sneered inwardly, since you all have the intention to change houses, have you not inquired about the price? To engage in fraud here, treat others as fools. How come I didn't realize you were so shameless before? 20 million is the market price, can't we offer our own siblings a discount? Lin Jijun picked up a piece of pork belly and stuffed it into his mouth, giggling. I sold the money urgently and I'm hoping you can quote me a high price. Lin Xiaoran refused to take advantage of any verbal advantages. You're so rich, do you still lack this? Lin Xiaoran didn't waste any time and said directly, okay, if you make a one-time payment, I'll sell it to you for 19.5 million yuan. How about that? We'll offer a discount of 500,000 yuan, but we need this money urgently. Please hurry up. Can't we offer any more discounts? Lin Xiaoran smiled silently. Lin Jijun saw that Lin Xiaoran didn't answer his words, so he picked up a piece of plum blossom meat and chewed it slowly. After thinking for a moment, he said, the price is too high. I'll go home and discuss it with my parents. Such a big matter really needs to be discussed, Lin Xiaoran said nonchalantly. If someone bids higher than this, I won't be able to keep it. You know, I urgently need money now. So urgent. Lin Jijun thought for a moment and said, okay, my parents and I will come to see you tonight, and we can discuss more. He's here to explore the truth and falsehood right now, and the highlight is when his parents show up at night. His father is the only biological brother of Lin Xiaoran's father. When the time comes, he will use his elder identity to suppress him and play the family card. Not to mention a 50% discount, missing a few million is definitely possible. Lin Xiaoran looked at the time on his phone and said, do you want any more food? If you don't want it, I'll pay. I made an appointment with a client this afternoon. I'm almost done, let's go together. Lin Jijun put down his chopsticks and drank his last sip of wine. He can't delay. If the sisters leave, won't he pay the bill? He shouldn't be such a scapegoat. Lin Xiaoran called the manager and asked him to settle the accounts, then pouted in the direction of Lin Jijun. A total of 95. The manager was cunning, and didn't understand anything. He immediately said, which of you two is paying? I'll do it, Lin Xiaoran said, going to get his phone. I'm here, my brother is here. I'm sorry to ask you to pay. Lin Jijun casually said, picking his teeth with a toothpick in his hand, without any intention of paying. Who knew that as soon as the words fell, Lin Xiaoran turned around and smiled at him. Okay, you haven't invited me to dinner yet. Thank you today and I'll invite you back another day. The manager immediately brought the POS machine to Lin Jijun and said, Sir, the total is 950 yuan. May I ask if you are paying by mobile phone or in cash? Lin Jijun opened his mouth in a daze and instinctively said, mobile phone. Just scan this code. The manager immediately lit up the QR code. So confused, he took out his phone and paid for the meal. Isn't Lin Xiaoran paying for it? How did it become my treat? If I had known not to order, the ones on the table were enough for me to eat. Lin Jijun's intestines are about to turn blue with regret. The manager received the money and turned to ask Lin Xiaoran with a smile, "Mr. Lin, how are you? Is the taste okay today?" Lin Xiaoran nodded and said, "It definitely works. There's never a time when your store doesn't work. My sister is very satisfied." Her eyes flickered and she said to the manager, "By the way, my sister is planning to hold a reunion at the villa tomorrow and wants to order 200 takeout orders from your store. Can you prepare them? They will be delivered to my house tomorrow noon." 200 takeout orders. That's amazing, we have to be able if we can't. The manager took a cold breath and immediately nodded like pounding garlic. He welcomes takeout so much that he doesn't have enough space in his business. With such a large quantity of food, he can't wait to place an order every day. As for why classmates would eat hot pot takeout and why they ordered so many dishes, that's not what he needs to consider. Lin Jijun had regained his senses by now. Although his flesh was sore, he still asked Lin Xiaoran affectionately, "Xiaoran, would you like to treat your classmates to hot pot?" He found that Xiaoran had a cold attitude towards him today, without even giving him a glance, hoping to get closer to her. "Not really." Lin Xiaoran continued, "Why, you, as an older brother, plan to pay for Xiaoran. She hasn't eaten a single candy since she was young, even in Dalian. Lin Jijun once said, 'Isn't this hot pot a part of it? Isn't this much more expensive than sugar? It's already 1,000 small.'" Lin Xiaoran, who had been buried in silence, raised her head and smiled, saying, "Sister, don't make things difficult for brother. His money needs to be kept to buy a house." Lin Jijun suddenly realized, yes, why didn't he think of this? Lin Xiaoran has a very straightforward temper. Although he doesn't speak with kindness, as long as he is right with her temperament, he is still very generous in his actions. When he first started doing business, things didn't go smoothly and he seemed to be struggling. It was Lin Xiaoran who introduced him to a few clients and gave him some tips that he slowly got on the right track. Xiaoran invited 200 classmates to eat hot pot, and at most it was only a matter of 10,000 yuan. She paid this money herself, and when she was happy, she talked about the house payment tonight. Isn't it better to negotiate the price? As the saying goes, soft-mouthed cannibalistic. If you let Xiaoran beat the drum next to you, that's not worth 80,000 to 100,000 yuan. Thinking of this, he patted his phone on the table and said generously, "Okay, brother will pay for you today." Lin Xiaoran exclaimed, "Do you want to cast a long line here to catch big fish? Unfortunately, your wish is destined to fall through." Chapter 8. Buying Seeds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The manager saw that they had agreed on who to pay and quickly brought over the ordering machine. "How many people do you order and what dishes do you want? Let's just have those dishes today, for 3 or 4 people. My sister needs a lot of sesame oil," Lin Xiaoran waved his hand and said cheerfully. "Then give each one a bottle of sesame oil as a gift." The manager tapped on the calculator and reported the number with a thud. "Your meal today, including drinks, is 95 million yuan. 200 portions is 190,000 yuan. If you give it a 10% discount, it will be 170,000 yuan. Just wipe out the rest, 170,000 yuan. How about that?" He lifted his head and looked eagerly at Lin Jijun. 17,000. Lin Jijun almost choked on his saliva. Why is it so expensive? Emotion is not about inviting 200 people, it's about inviting 600 people. Why did he say those big words? Lin Jijun wished he could slap himself twice in the face. Make you talk too much, one sentence will cost over 100,000 yuan. The manager's attitude was very good, and he smiled and said, "It's not too expensive anymore. Because it's Mr. Lin, we even offered a discount. Alright, I'll give you a bottle of beverage and a piece of fruit for each order." Lin Xiaoran looked at Lin Jijun with concern and said, "Brother, what's going on? Is there not enough money? Just kidding, as someone who runs a company and doesn't have enough money. Lin Xiaoran had the best face, but he refused to lose face in front of outsiders. He gritted his teeth and said to the manager, "Pay now. If Lin Xiaoran doesn't give me a discount of 1 million yuan on tonight's house price, it's not enough." With a beep, Lin Xiaoran's 170,000 yuan was credited to the hot pot restaurant. Lin Xiaoran couldn't stay any longer. He said hello to Lin Xiaoran's sisters and hurried away. Eating a meal and cutting a layer of flesh alive, he felt heartbroken to death. Lin Xiaoran looked at his back and gritted her teeth in hatred as she thought of him lifting an iron rod in the apocalypse and fiercely tapping Lin Xiaoran's head. This is just the beginning. In this life, we must let your family repay little by little, and slowly taste the hardships we have experienced. She calmed her emotions and gave her address to the manager. "I will deliver it tomorrow noon. Before coming, please make a phone call to confirm if there is anyone at home." After the confession, Lin Xiaoran and Lin Xiaoran walked out of the hot pot restaurant. Lin Xiaoran asked his sister, "I'll go back and wait for Mr. Ma." "What are you doing?" "Give your classmate a call, I'll go buy the seeds." Buying seeds is the most practical, you can plant them right away. Lin Xiaoran's classmate's name is Su Hai. When he saw Lin Xiaoran, his attitude was very enthusiastic, but his expression was very puzzled. "Are you going to open a farm? I heard from Xiaoran that he bought a lot of seeds this time." "Almost so, it's not just about grain and vegetable seeds, but also fruit trees. The more complete the variety, the better," Lin Xiaoran replied ambiguously. "No problem, our company has a lot of seeds. If I don't have them here, you won't be able to buy them from other places. What do you want?" "I'll get it for you, it's definitely a broken price." Lin Xiaoran immediately said, "I want everything your company has, but I don't want hybrid rice. I only want conventional rice that can be kept for planting. The offspring of hybrid rice will undergo variation, leading to a decrease in yield and inability to retain seeds. Do you understand all of this?" "Not bad, it seems like you've done a lot of homework." "Okay, how much do you want?" Lin Xiaoran was not very familiar with farming, and after inquiring about how many acres of land could be planted with 1 kilogram of seeds, she finally bought 3 to 10 kilograms of each seed. Rice and wheat are purchased in large quantities, and if they cannot be grown, they can be replanted. Although this possibility is unlikely, there is still no risk. In addition to rice, grains also include millet, sweet potatoes, corn, and various beans. She has the most vegetable varieties, including melons, pods, leaves, and other uncommon ones on the market. Some of them she hasn't even heard of, so she bought them all. There is also a wide variety of fruits, including peaches, apples, pears, bananas, strawberries, grapes, watermelons. If it can survive, there will be no shortage of fruits to eat. There are also various dried fruits, walnuts, hazelnuts, peanuts, melon seeds, whatever you see. The seeds are not expensive, Su Hai calculated, and the total amount is only 80,000 yuan. After discount, 60,000 yuan is not much compared to their more than 100 million yuan. The key is that this investment is constantly generating returns, which is really cost effective. Lin Xiaoran gave him all the money at once. "Looking at you like this, you really have built a mountain. If you finish it one day, please invite me over to play." Su Hai chuckled. "No problem." Lin Xiaoran answered very confidently, but she knew there would never be such a day. She can't even get in, let alone Su Hai. "How can I handle the seeds? Can I deliver them to your doorstep?" Su Hai asked Lin Xiaoran. "No need, you put me in the car, I'll just take it away." "Can your car accommodate it?" Su Hai saw that Lin Xiaoran was driving a BMW and was very suspicious. "Give it a try." Although these seeds and seedlings weigh over 1,000 pounds, the worker can collect them into the space while placing them, without any problem. Since Lin Xiaoran said so, Su Hai didn't hesitate to ask the workers to move onto the car. Lin Xiaoran stood next to the car, seeing the bags piled higher and higher. As soon as the workers left, they moved into the space. Finally, Su Hai was surprised to see that all the seeds and seedlings had been planted. "Sure, your car is quite capable of loading." Lin Xiaoran smiled and asked, "Mr. Su, do you know anyone who sells poultry and livestock? There is a breeding base in the southern new area, where each household raises a type of poultry. You can go and see it from house to house, and after walking, you can buy almost all of them. If you buy a lot, the price is not expensive." Lin Xiaoran knows about this southern new area. It's about an hour's drive from Seed Company to the southern new area by highway. She once wandered there in the apocalypse, but everyone was gone and there was not a single feather left from the poultry. She looked at the time and found that it was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She had to attend Feng Binbin's birthday banquet in the evening, which would be too hasty. Moreover, things like chickens, ducks, and fish can still be brought to the interior space of the car by themselves. Pigs and cows are too big but difficult to handle, so we can't have a live thing disappearance technique on the spot, can we? It seems that after discussing with Lin Xiaobei, we can rent a warehouse or something to transfer some items that are inconvenient to take on the spot. After bidding farewell to Su Hai, Lin Xiaoran drove back to the community. On the way back, she found several restaurants she usually likes to eat and ordered takeout. The Jixiangwan hot pot shop ordered 100 copies, the Heidaleo tomato hot pot ordered 100 copies, the Sister Zhang spicy hot pot ordered 100 copies, the Fangyuan Jiao beef ordered 15 copies, the Xianjiolai bull chicken ordered 100 copies, the fragrant barbecue ordered 100 copies, and the Riizai ordered 150 tables of her favorite specialty dishes, all of which were scheduled to be delivered home at noon tomorrow. These orders cost about 700,000 yuan. Adding in the output from the fields, the basic food is almost done, and the rest is to buy snacks. Take these directly to the supermarket, and if the supermarket doesn't have them, shop online. As long as you have money, everything is very simple. Chapter 9. Eating a big meal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, in Lin Xiaobei's conference room, she had already signed a purchase contract with Mr. Ma. With 40 million renminbi transferred to Lin Xiaobei's account, the Northern Import and Export Trading Company she founded became Mr. Ma's asset. After the two shook hands happily, Lin Xiaobei asked Mr. Ma about the security company that built the post-apocalyptic shelter for him. Amazing. Mr. Ma gave a thumbs up. Have you heard of Rian Company, the world's top security company? This is their branch in Jiangbin City. I spent over 2 billion on it. As long as the ground doesn't crack and I swallow the house, I'm not afraid to throw a nuclear bomb. In these days, if you have money, use it. Don't be timid or reluctant. Who knows when the world will become chaotic? You can only strive to live and not die. I'm not very optimistic about it anyway. You can also take a look at your Land Rover Range Rover. My car has been modified to be similar to a tank, and no one can overturn me when driving it. It's still a dual-purpose vehicle for both water and land. If you run away, you won't be afraid of encountering big rivers and seas. Mr. Ma usually says these things that no one agrees with, including his family and friends. They all feel that he has too much money and is quite old, doing unreliable things, which makes him very frustrated. Now Lin Xiaobei has taken the initiative to seek his advice, immediately becoming a confidant and talking incessantly about the knowledge he knows in this area. Lin Xiaobei's attentive listening and occasional questioning attitude further pleased him. Mr. Ma patted the table and said, "Since you want to build it, I'll call manager Ryan and ask him to tell you in detail. As long as I introduce it to you, he will offer a 20% discount." "Great. Thank you, Mr. Ma," Lin Xiaobei said happily. "I'll fight now." Mr. Ma immediately called and quickly agreed on a time with the other party. You go to their company tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock for a detailed discussion. Mr. Ma hung up the phone, 20% off. Finally, he said, I have some tricks. If you have anything inconvenient to get, come find me. It's definitely no problem. Lin Xiaoran nodded repeatedly, estimating that there might be some trouble for him in the future, such as weapons. A fortress alone is not enough without weapons. The two of them went to the office together and informed all the employees of the news. Mr. Ma reassures everyone that everything remains the same as before and will not change in the slightest. The employees looked at Lin Xiaoran in surprise, not understanding how she suddenly made this decision. However, since Mr. Ma is here, it is not convenient to ask. When Lin Xiaoran was about to leave, he asked everyone in the company group to take care and, if possible, to stock up on food and purified water as much as possible, so he withdrew from the company group. Young people nowadays like to order takeout, and they don't usually stock up on anything at home. If the end of the world really comes, they will be the first to suffer. She can only remind this step, and whether others listen or not is beyond her control. Now that their funds have risen to 1 billion, she doesn't have to work and has plenty of time and money to prepare for the end of the world. At Lin Xiaoran's home in Fuli community, she is taking out the seed she received from the space and starting to plant. That field is pitch black and fertile, and has been turned over into rows. She just needs to sprinkle the seeds with her consciousness. The fields and the space were boundless, and Lin Xiaoran had been planting for a long time without seeing the end. Instead, he found several water trucks by the river, slowly turning and pumping the river water into the fields. When the harvest season comes and the crops are ripe, the fields are filled with golden rice and wheat, green vegetables and fruits, and herds of cattle and sheep on the other side. That scene is really beautiful. If only people could live inside and never come out. After planting the land, Lin Xiaoran put all the surplus seeds back into the wooden house and started planting fruit trees on the mountain. She also bought a lot of bamboo seedlings this time and planted them behind the house by the field, so that she can have bamboo shoots to eat in the future. You can also make pickled bamboo shoots, roasted meat with bamboo shoots, roasted chicken with bamboo shoots. Just as she was thinking about it, her phone rang again. She withdrew her consciousness and saw that it was Feng Binbin calling. Xiaoran, have you left yet? We've all arrived. If you're okay, come too. Lin Xiaoran glanced at the time and immediately agreed at 6 o'clock. Okay, I'll pack up and come over. She remembered that in the previous life, Feng Binbin invited 8 good friends, along with himself and Lin Xiaoran, and happened to have 10 people gathered together at a table. He spent a lot of money on this meal, booking a high-end private room on the 3rd floor with dishes and drinks, totaling over 30,000 yuan. If he were himself, he would definitely be reluctant to spend so much money, but with Lin Xiaoran as the scapegoat, he showed a hint of embarrassment and Lin Xiaoran bought the order. How could he possibly let go of such a good thing as saving face in front of friends without spending money? But today, he couldn't count on Lin Xiaoran and was bleeding profusely. When Lin Xiaoran arrived, it was exactly 6 o'clock and the dishes were being served. She didn't want to arrive early for a minute and didn't want to talk to him much. She just came to eat and had to dig a hole for him. Like in his previous life, Feng Binbin affectionately introduced her to his friends, and Lin Xiaoran turned her head around before preparing to sit down and eat. A beautiful-looking girl suddenly spoke up, Xiaoran, aren't you Binbin's girlfriend? Why didn't you give him a birthday gift? We all did. This girl is recognized by Lin Xiaoran as Su Huiming, Feng Binbin's assistant. In his previous life, when Feng Binbin tricked Lin Xiaoran into opening the door, she was also present. Now it seems that the two of them have already hooked up and are plotting against her together. Lin Xiaoran was about to speak when Feng Binbin came out to mediate. No need, no need. Xiaoran, people just come, no need for gifts, right, Xiaoran? Although saying so, there was a glimmer of hope in my eyes. In his past life, Lin Xiaoran gave Feng Binbin a belt worth over 10,000 yuan, but unfortunately he didn't take it seriously. There were even bigger plans ahead. There is no belt today, Lin Xiaoran has something else to give him. She smiled at Feng Binbin and said, on your birthday, how could you not give a gift? It must be given. Feng Binbin's heart was filled with joy, and he didn't know what gift it would be. Lin Xiaoran was still willing to spend money on him, and it was definitely worth a lot. At the next moment, Lin Xiaoran gave him a big smile and said, then, I'll give you a smile. Wishing you a happy day every year. Feng Binbin. Well, I really like it, Feng Binbin forced a smile on his face. Su Huiming, however, was very dissatisfied and criticized, you are too perfunctory. How could anyone give such a gift? Lin Xiaoran rolled her eyelids and looked at her without hesitation, who are you? It's your turn to talk about the matter between the two of us. Su Huiming was choked by her words and didn't know how to answer for a moment. Lin Xiaoran turned to Feng Binbin again and said, Binbin, do you think I'm perfunctory? No perfunctory, no perfunctory. I like it, Feng Binbin said repeatedly. I think it's perfunctory, but can I say it? Lin Xiaoran looked proudly at Su Huiming and said, look, how happy Binbin is. Su Huiming was extremely angry. Binbin didn't say that this woman was just a fool or an ATM. Why is she so harsh today? What else did she want to say? She was grabbed by someone next to her. What can outsiders interject about the romance between the young couple? Outsiders. Su Huiming hates to look at Lin Xiaoran, his teeth are about to break. Chapter 10. Eating Yourself. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Xiaoran didn't care what Su Huiming thought, burying her head and eating fiercely, causing Feng Binbin beside her to only be stunned. Before, Lin Xiaoran used to be very gentle when eating in front of him, like counting the number of grains in a bowl of rice. Why does it feel like she hasn't had enough to eat for many years today? After eating from front to back, the chopsticks never stopped, not a single dish was missed, and in the end, I leaned back comfortably in the chair and sighed, delicious. Of course it's delicious, over 30,000 yuan. Feng Binbin approached her and whispered, it's just a bit expensive. It's a bit, Lin Xiaoran nodded in agreement. But she has already planned to order 100 takeout tables here and put them in her space. Neither she nor Lin Xiaobei likes to drink alcohol. Not to mention the amount of alcohol, it only costs over 10,000 yuan, and 100 tables only cost over 1 million yuan. In the apocalypse, she eats it once a month to improve her life. Thinking of this, she took advantage of the time to go to the restroom and went to the front desk to find the lobby manager, and made a reservation for this matter. Due to the high number of orders, the lobby manager gave a 10% discount and kindly said to Lin Xiaoran, today we will give you this banquet for free. No need, this table is paid for, Lin Xiaoran refused. The manager nodded clearly, and in the end, he nodded out for 1.3 million. Just pay 1.3 million yuan. Lin Xiaoran immediately transferred the money to the hotel account and arranged a delivery time. When he returned, Feng Binbin stared at her with shining eyes. As she sat down, he quickly whispered, Xiaoran, what have you been doing there for so long? Go to the bathroom, eat a bit too much, make some space, Lin Xiaoran replied, searching the table with her eyes. Why haven't the dessert come yet? I love eating their lava cake the most. It should be here soon. Feng Binbin glanced at the door of the private room. Oh, then I'll wait a little longer. Feng Binbin looked so speechless at her, how could she look like a foodie? He rolled his eyes and said affectionately, Xiaoran, I value you very much. I chose such a great place to introduce you to my friends, just to show them how much I care about you. He sighed again, but after this meal, I have to tighten my belt and eat instant noodles for a few months. He stared closely at Lin Xiaoran, waiting for her to object with heartache, and then took the initiative to pay for the meal. Sure enough, Lin Xiaoran widened her eyes in surprise and said, how many months should I eat instant noodles? That's too nutritious. Yeah, I'm currently in the entrepreneurial stage and I don't have enough funds. It's impossible, but I'm willing to do it for you. Quickly say you'll pay. Feng Binbin's eyes were filled with anticipation. Lin Xiaoran gave him a pained look and said, "This is not good. Don't do this next time, Before he could finish speaking, the waiter brought the dessert up. She immediately cheered, "Dessert is here." She took a lava cake from a plate and couldn't wait to take a bite, her face full of intoxication. "It's really delicious, it's been a long time since I had it." After speaking, take a small bite and eat. "Xiaoran, this meal is really a bit expensive." Feng Binbin was afraid that she would forget, so he reminded her again. "It's okay too, not every day," Lin Xiaoran continued to eat sweetly. Feng Binbin is confused. What does this mean? Not planning to pay. Previously, when it came to this point, she had already taken the initiative to pay for it. Why is there something wrong with Lin Xiaoran today? But if she doesn't speak up, she can't force her to go. With so many friends watching, does he still want to save face? Thinking of having a big head later, Feng Binbin gritted his teeth and said, "I won't pay now. I'll let you pay a big head later." After dinner, Feng Binbin's classmates and friends were still unsatisfied and wanted to switch to KTV singing. Lin Xiaoran refused. She doesn't have that much time to spend with them. She said to Feng Binbin, "You guys go play. I have to go home. There are still many things to do at home." Feng Binbin also remembered his important matters and insincerely advised her for a few words. Seeing her persistence, he agreed. He asked Su Huiming to arrange for his classmates and friends to sing at the neighboring KTV, and personally drove Lin Xiaoran home. Not long after driving, Feng Binbin glanced at Lin Xiaoran with a look of regret on his face. "It's rare to get together with friends today, but unfortunately you have something to do. If only you could play a little longer." "It's okay, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future," Lin Xiaoran said lightly. "Indeed, our days are long," Feng Binbin sighed as he drove, "time flies so fast. Unconsciously, I'm already 26 years old, but my career hasn't made much progress yet. It's already very good." "Not enough, far from enough," Feng Binbin said affectionately as he gazed ahead. "Xiaoran, you don't know how important you are to me. After graduation, I have been working hard, just to propose to you as soon as my career improves." "Really? I'm so touched, you can cheer on." Feng Binbin sighed and said, "I ask myself, my abilities are not bad, but I have been unable to receive projects recently. Later, I realized that it was my lack of assistance that made people feel like I lacked the ability." Lin Xiaoran quietly pouted and came, starting to beg for money. She didn't show any signs on her face and curiously asked, "What kind of assistance do you need? Now when we go out to talk about business, the other party wants to see your car. If your car is good, it shows that you have strength, and they will trust you. My car is only over 200,000 yuan, which is not competitive in front of those who drive millions of luxury cars. Now there is another big project, and we have negotiated a profit of tens of millions. If we lose the order again due to the car, it would be a pity." Lin Xiaoran immediately suggested thoughtfully, "Go and get a better one." "That's what I think. I'm interested in a car, and the total cost plus would be over 3.2 million, but I'm still a little short." "Almost. What should we do?" Lin Xiaoran was even more anxious than him. Feng Binbin hesitated and asked with a puzzled expression, "Xiaoran, are you at a disadvantage? If it's convenient for you, lend me a loan to turn it around first. When I take down this order and make money, I will repay you immediately." "How much difference are you?" Feng Binbin was not shy at all and spoke up, "I have 200,000, but now I'm only 3 million short. Look, this thick-skinned guy is only 3 million away. He really dares to say it." I don't know what was in my own mind in my past life. Such a person can love him so much that he can lend him 3 million without hesitation, not even a promissory note, and never get it back until death.